Hello and welcome. So, some things happened. Not long after I put out my Paragon the Overprime video, another Paragon clone released onto Steam. This one's called Predecessor. It's been in production for longer than Paragon the Overprime as far as I can tell. I'm pretty sure it was crowdfunded for a decent amount of money. And it's different. So, what we're going to do is, we're going to do a video where I'm going to compare the two. I'm going to compare Paragon the Overprime to Predecessor. And I'm going to make points on which ones I think are better in different categories. So, essentially that's what this video is. So, I hope you enjoy, and hopefully you agree with my points. If you don't, cool. Comment down below. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to go through is probably the most obvious thing, which is the cost. Now, we'll go through Predecessor first, because that one's quite easy to explain. So Predecessor has a fixed box price. Right now, I believe it's £8 something, £8.71 on Steam, but it is currently on sale, probably for the early launch. Now, purchasing that gives you access to the first 20 early access heroes for free, and it also gives you the next 5 that they release for free. After that, you're going to have to pay real money by the looks of it. It doesn't look like there's any form of in-game currency, not that there's any shown yet on the UI, and there are different bundles you can buy at different purchase points which will give you even more stuff to start with. So the next one is a little bit harder to explain. Overprime is free, okay? So it's a free game, you just download it, there you go, you've got it. Looks like the first 5 days maybe of this game being out, just logging in will get you a hero for free. And they're using sort of like a League of Legends style where there seems to be heroes in a free rotation that maybe changes weekly. We don't really know yet. And they are free to use, but you don't own them. Then, in order to purchase a hero, you either spend real money, and it's a relatively sizable amount. I believe it's like £8 in real money in order to purchase a hero, or you can play the game and use in-game currency in order to purchase a hero. Now, the in-game currency is not earned through just purely playing the game; it's earned through doing specific challenges. You've got dailies and you have weeklies. Now, your weekly is 500 coins and your dailies are 100 coins. You get 3 dailies every day, you get 1 weekly a week. However, a hero costs 2,000, which some quick math would tell you that you would have to pay basically 5 days. You'd have to play for 5 days in a row and do all your dailies and also do the weekly in order to be able to buy 1 hero. Which is a little bit on the steep side, but it's not so bad given that there's no box price. Personally, I'm willing to do that, but your mileage may vary. So yeah, it's personal preference at that point, really. Okay, so let's talk about graphics. Now, both of these games are running in Unreal Engine, and they look pretty damn good, okay? So there's not much more to say than that. They both look really good, but I honestly thought when I played Predecessor that it looked worse than Overprime, because I hadn't played Overprime in like a week and a half. But I think now, looking at them back to back, like I played Predecessor and then immediately played Overprime to do this video, I think Predecessor just about wins. Some of the textures look a bit cleaner, and visual, like, sort of staggering is less in Predecessor, so I'm going to give the point to Predecessor here. They're both on screen, you can have a look between the two, but I think Predecessor just about wins. Simple. Nice and easy. Okay, so another quick and easy one is to go through game modes. It looks like right now, Predecessor only has quick play and the training ground sort of type thing, whereas in the future it might have co-op by the looks of it and some other modes. But as it stands right now, Predecessor is behind Overprime, that currently has quick play, competitive, training grounds, custom games, and tutorials. So it's just a bit more fleshed out right now. Maybe in the future, Predecessor would be winning this category, but right now, this one has to go to Overprime. Okay, time for another quick and easy one. Items. So items in Overprime just feel better. So the icons look better. They look like they were done by a better artist, honestly. Thematically, they fit. They just feel better to build. You feel like you're building towards something. Whereas in Predecessor, the theme doesn't look right. The art just doesn't match with the game. And they just don't feel as good to build. You don't feel like you're building towards something. So another point to Overprime. Okay, and time for what is essentially the final point, which is arguably the most important. The general feel of the game. Now, Predecessor, I don't know what it is about it. It feels a bit more slow and sluggish. It's almost like they're timing all the attacks to like a really slow, intricate animation, maybe. Maybe that's the point. But it just feels not as responsive. Whenever you do anything, it just feels like there's this inherent delay between everything. I mean, some people like that, but for me, it's just not my thing. I want it to be a bit more responsive in a game like this. So for me, Overprime just hands down wins this category. It's so much quicker to respond. Like, it just feels really snappy. You never feel like you do something and you're waiting for an animation to play off. It's like you hit it and like that immediately it's just gone. It fires the rocket, you know, whatever it is. It just feels a lot more responsive. I just prefer it overall. Now this is a bit more divisive. Some people would prefer the feel of the slower gameplay of Predecessor. It just feels a bit more bogged down. It feels like you're slowly wading through a swamp rather than, I don't know, sprinting or something like that. I don't know, really poor comparison. But yeah, it just feels a bit slower. Okay, so time for some closing comments. The first thing I'm going to say is that this is obviously a review of the games as they stand right now. They've both just launched. They're both technically in early access. So it is as they stand currently. Also, this is a review of the game and the gameplay, as opposed to anything to do with the companies, what they stand for, where they're based, anything like that. Most importantly, the big elephant in the room is that there is this weird sort of agreement that you have to sign when you start playing Overprime that essentially allows them to collect a lot of your data. Now, I don't want to comment on that right now because I need to research it further. I was happy to agree to that, as are many people, but some people are not comfortable with that. So the very first thing you need to do if you are interested in playing Overprime is just read that agreement and see what you think, or do a little bit of research around. The general consensus seems to be that a lot of companies out of Korea have this kind of boilerplate agreement, what you have to sign with terms and conditions that do state that they're collecting quite a lot of information. So it could just be that, but again, I just need to do a bit more research, so feel free to comment on that if you want down below. I might do a bit more investigation and actually do a proper video on it, but I just didn't want to bloat this out too far. But yeah, as you can see, I much prefer Overprime. It just feels better in general. I didn't even cover the map. The map in Overprime is so much better than the one that they used in Predecessor. The Predecessor map, I believe, is an earlier version of the map from the original game, whereas the Overprime one is the newer one. It's just bigger. It has the sprint functionality. It's just overall better in my opinion. It just feels nicer to play on. The other thing is just like, obviously the items are from, I believe, also the older version of the game in Predecessor versus Overprime. Hopefully neither of them go down the route that the original game went, which is the card-based system, which everyone agrees is absolutely garbage. But anyway, that's my review. Let me know what you think. Tell me which one of these two you guys prefer, and let me know if you want me to do a video on the whole sort of agreement thing that you have to do with Overprime. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for making it to the end. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time.